A prince's blood-soaked screams shattered the streets of Tyre as Conrad of Montferrat met a macabre end. In 1192, his body torn apart by assassins' blades under a crimson sky. Once a hero of the Third Crusade, his reign in the Holy Land unraveled in a conspiracy that plunged him into a nightmare of betrayal and gore. How did a noble crusader's glory turn to a scene of butchery that haunted the ages? Step into the shadow-drenched sands of medieval Outremer with tales of torment, where we unveil a truth darker than any crusade's banner. The assassin's dagger gleams with malice, its edge ready to carve a tale of terror. Dare to tread the path of a prince's doom. In the rugged hills of Montferrat, Italy, in 1140, a child was born into a lineage of warriors and statesmen, a land where the Alps met the plains of Piedmont. Conrad, son of William V, Marquis of Montferrat, grew amidst the clang of swords and the chants of Latin hymns. His early years shaped by a father who served emperors and popes with iron resolve. Tall and broad-shouldered, with dark hair and a piercing gaze, Conrad trained in the arts of war from age 6. His skills honed on the fields of Lombardy, his mind sharpened by tutors in strategy and theology. By his 20s, he was a knight of repute, his banner raised in defense of the Holy Roman Empire. His name whispered in courts from Milan to Jerusalem. In 1177, at 37, Conrad led troops against the forces of Frederick Barbarossa. His victory at Legnano, a testament to his military genius, earning him the favor of Pope Alexander III. The call of the Third Crusade in 1187 drew him eastward. His journey to the Holy Land, a pilgrimage of faith and ambition. Arriving in Tyre in 1187, Conrad found a city under siege by Saladin. Its walls crumbling, its people desperate. He rallied the defenders, his sword cutting through the enemy. His leadership turning the tide, securing Tyre as a crusader stronghold. His marriage to Isabella of Jerusalem in 1190, a union to cement his claim to the throne, brought him into the orbit of Richard the Lionheart and Philip II of France, but also into a web of rivalry. Richard, a king of bold action, clashed with Conrad over leadership, their alliance fraying as Philip withdrew, leaving a power vacuum. Conrad's charm won over the people of Tyre. His court a blend of European splendor and Levantan intrigue, but his ambition alienated allies. In 1191, he rejected Richard's offer of the crown, seeking to rule independently, a decision that sowed seeds of enmity. The Assassins, a sect of Ismaili killers, were rumored to be hired by rivals, perhaps Richard, perhaps the Knights Templar, their daggers poised to end his reign. A chronicler noted, Conrad's star rose high, but his alliances cracked, his glory a prelude to a bloody fall. By the spring of 1192, the streets of Tyre grew thick with whispers of a conspiracy that would seal Conrad of Montferrat's fate, its shadows stretching from the Crusader courts to the hidden dens of the assassins. Tyre, a jewel of the Levant, with its bustling markets and fortified walls, became a stage for intrigue, its alleys alive with spies and rumors. Conrad, now ruler of the city, ruled with a firm hand, his marriage to Isabella strengthening his claim. But his refusal of Richard the Lionheart's crown in 1191 ignited a fire of resentment. Richard, a king of tempestuous will, saw Conrad as a rival. His negotiations with Saladin for peace, a thorn in the Crusader king's side, while the Knights Templar, fearing loss of influence, plotted in their shadowed halls. The Assassins, a sect of fanatical killers from the mountains of Syria, were said to be hired, their blades offered by a paymaster, perhaps Richard, perhaps a Templar Grand Master, their motives cloaked in the mists of war. Conrad's court buzzed with tension, his guards doubling, his knights restless with the sound of footsteps in the dark. On April 28, 1192, two assassins, disguised as Christian monks, infiltrated Tyre, their white robes hiding curved daggers, their faces masked by feigned piety. They approached Conrad as he walked from Mass, his wife Isabella at his side, his guards momentarily distracted by a merchant's clamor. The first struck, his blade piercing Conrad's side. The second slashing his neck, blood spraying the cobblestones in a crimson arc that stunned the crowd. Isabella screamed, her voice lost in the chaos as Conrad fell, his hands clutching the wounds, his life draining into the dust. The assassins were seized, their confessions tortured from them, hired by a Crusader lord. Their gold traced to a Templar coffer, yet the true mastermind remained a phantom, a shadow in the Crusades' tapestry. The city mourned, its bells tolling, its people whispering of a curse, while Richard feigned sorrow, his hands clean but his heart suspect. A chronicler wrote, "Tyre's prince bled under a dagger's kiss. The conspiracy a spectre that haunted the holy war. Conrad's death left a void. His body a symbol of betrayal, his torment a prelude to a legacy steeped in blood and mystery."
On April 28, 1192, the brutal assassination of Conrad of Montferrat unfolded in the heart of Tyre, a macabre spectacle that etched terror into the city's stones. The morning sun cast a golden hue over the bustling streets. Merchants haggling, pilgrims praying. Winter figures in monkish robes emerged from the crowd, their steps deliberate, their hands concealed. Conrad, fresh from Mass at the Church of the Holy Cross, walked with Isabella, his dark hair catching the light, his regal bearing a beacon of hope amid the Crusades' chaos. His guards, lulled by the day's calm, lagged behind, their eyes on a juggler's performance when the assassins struck. The first, a wiry man with cold eyes, lunged, his dagger slicing into Conrad's left side, the blade grinding against bone, a gasp escaping the prince's lips. This second, broader and swift, slashed across Conrad's neck, this steel cutting deep, blood gushing in a torrent that stained his golden tunic, his knees buckling as he fell. Isabella's scream pierced the air, her hands reaching for him, but the assassins fled, their robes fluttering like ghosts, swallowed by the throng. The crowd froze, some rushing to aid, others fleeing in panic, as Conrad writhed, his hands clutching the wounds, his breath a wet rattle, his life ebbing with each heartbeat. Guards seized the killers, there capture a frenzy of swords and shouts. But Conrad's body lay still, his blood pooling on the cobblestones, a crimson lake that drew flies under the midday sun. Physicians arrived, their efforts futile, stitching wounds that bled anew, their faces grim as they pronounced him dead within minutes, his head lolling, his eyes staring blankly at the sky. The assassins, under torture, confessed hired by a Crusader lord, their gold marked with Templar seals, yet their master's name eluded just as a shadow lost in the Crusades' head. Isabella, widowed and pregnant, collapsed in grief, her sobs a lament that echoed through Tyre's walls, while Richard the Lionheart sent condolences, his voice hollow, his alibi untested. The city's bells tolled for days, its people mourning a prince cut down, their fear of assassins growing with each shadow. Conrad's body was carried to the cathedral, his wounds cleaned but not hidden, his funeral a somber affair under a sky that wept rain. A chronicler wrote, Conrad's blood-painted Tyre, his death a wound that bled into the soul of the crusade, a torment born of treachery's blade.
Conrad of Montferrat's macabre torment left a scar on the annals of the Third Crusade, his name a whisper of dread that outlasted his blood-soaked streets. His death in 1192 shifted the balance of power, paving the way for Guy of Lusignan's brief rule and the eventual rise of the Kingdom of Jerusalem under new hands. Yet his assassination fueled distrust among Crusaders. The Church seized his lands, their wealth funding prayers to absolve the sin of his murder. But his story birthed legends, tales of a prince felled by a phantom blade, his spirit haunting Tyre's alleys with the wails of the betrayed. No shrines rose for him, no song sang his early valor, but his narrative spread throughout Remor and Europe, a warning of alliances shattered by ambition. The assassin's role, though proven, left a mystery. Richard the Lionheart's involvement whispered in corners. His rivalry with Conrad, a motive never confirmed. The Templar's shadow, a specter of intrigue. Isabella, widowed at 18, bore a daughter, Maria. Was claimed to Jerusalem, carried Conrad's blood, a legacy diluted by war. Her life a quiet echo of his torment. His end mirrors the dark cost of power in a holy war, where a single stab ignites a chain of retribution, where honor becomes a target for a dagger's edge. As a prince and crusader, he faced the treachery of his own cause, his sword, a tool of faith, turned to his own undoing. His brutal assassination warns us that glory in the Holy Land came with a price paid in blood. It shadows a reminder of the fragile peace between allies and enemies, a tale that lingers like a ghost in the desert winds. Conrad of Montferrat's Torment was more than an assassination. It was a macabre unraveling of a Crusader-esque dream, carved in treachery and sealed by an assassin's blade. Its blood-soaked fall in Tyre's streets, the screams of his widow. The shadow of a conspiracy that eluded justice haunt history's depths, a testament to a prince's plunge into medieval horror. From the hills of Montferrat to the battlefields of Remor, his life was a tapestry of valor and violence. His demise a chilling echo that reverberates through the ages. His tale, a forgotten terror, burns bright amid the shadows of the crusade. A warning etched in the crimson sands of the Holy Land. Crave more spine-chilling stories of royal torment and medieval dread. Subscribe to Tales of Torment and dive into our next video about the gruesome fate of a medieval outcast, where betrayal meets a bloody reckoning. Don't let these dark secrets fade into the silence of history's forgotten corners. Was Conrad a victim of Richard's jealousy, or did the Templars' greed seal his doom? Share your theories in the comments below. Join the shadows of the past, and let the echoes of Tyre whisper their mysteries to you once more.